Good morning. Thank you for being with us at 6 o'clock on THV 11, streaming with THV 11 Plus. I'm Karen Fuller. Hayden and Tracy off this week. Meteorologist Nathan Scott joins us now with the first check of your forecast on this Thursday.
Hey, good morning, Karen. Yeah, we are starting off on the warm side this morning. 66 is the number in Little Rock. We got clear skies in place, 52 in Clinton, 54 in DeQueen, 65 in Monticello. And today, those numbers are going to quickly climb up from the 60s into the upper 70s, low 80s around lunchtime. Abundant sunshine in the forecast. And highs today, how about mid to upper 80s, maybe 90 in some locations. 88 is expected high here in Little Rock Metro. If Little Rock reaches 88, that ties the daily record set back in 2020, 93. In Fort Smith, close to 90 in Texarkana. It's also going to be breezy out there. The breeze kicking in from the southwest, 15 to 25 miles per hour with some higher gusts. Tonight, we drop down to the upper 50s to lower 60s with mostly clear skies. But then changes move into the picture on Friday as a cold front starts to arrive here from the north. So we'll see more clouds and sun, and a small chance there could be a little bit of rain. I'll have a look at future radar and talk about the high wildfire danger risk that is in effect for all of Arkansas coming up. And here is a look at traffic across the region. We are looking at I-Drive Arkansas. We'll just go ahead and pick the River Bridge right here to see what's going on 430. And actually, not too much is going on. It is all quiet, and that continues to be the case because spring break is happening. So there's not a lot of parents getting ready for school or taking their kids to school for this morning. We are looking at green on I-Drive Arkansas. No accidents to report at this time.
We begin this morning with continuing coverage of the growing strain at the nation's airports. President Trump is said to be considering new measures to manage the crowds as hundreds of TSA officers call out during the partial government shutdown. The agency's acting chief now warns some airports could be forced to close if the stalemate drags on. CBS News correspondent Jared Hill has the story.
No end in sight to never-ending airport lines amid the partial government shutdown.
We actually got here like 3 hours before, just in case, but we still didn't make it.
President Trump now offering a new plan.
We're going to send in the National Guard if we need to.
The threat as he points fingers across the aisle for the nearly 6-week-long stalemate.
The radical left Democrats need to get DHS back and open immediately.
Wednesday, the Senate again failed to advance a bill to reopen the government, even as both parties present proposals.
We have differences of opinion when it comes to ICE and the standards that they'll live by.
I hope Democrats will work with us to finalize an agreement.
Republicans are pushing to fund the full Department of Homeland Security except for ICE's enforcement arm. Democrats want to handle ICE funding separately, worried the agency could find ways to pay for ICE enforcement without reforms anyway. TSA officers caught in the middle.
Many in our workforce have missed bill payments, received eviction notices.
On Capitol Hill, the acting TSA administrator discussed the toll the shutdown is taking, as more than 480 TSA workers have quit and call-outs have skyrocketed.
Some are sleeping in their cars, selling their blood and plasma, and taking on second jobs to make ends meet.
The acting administrator warning the agency could be forced to close some airports if the shutdown isn't resolved soon. Jared Hill, CBS News.
By the way, the White House has declined an offer by Elon Musk to pay TSA workers during the partial government shutdown, citing significant legal challenges. Musk made that proposal on social media. TSA employees have been working without pay since mid-February. The U.S. Army is rolling out new changes on who can sign up to serve. Leaders are raising the maximum enlistment age from 35 to 42, which means older applicants will no longer need a waiver to join. The Army is also easing rules for some recruits with past cannabis-related offenses. Applicants with a single conviction for cannabis possession or possession of drug paraphernalia can now enlist without requesting a waiver. We are also digging deeper into a landmark verdict against social media giants Meta and Google's YouTube. A Los Angeles jury finding the companies failed to warn children about the platform's addictive nature, awarding one woman millions in damages. Legal experts say the ruling could shape how future cases against social media companies are handled. Gwen Baumgardner has the details.
In a landmark social media addiction trial, a Los Angeles jury found YouTube and Meta, the owner of Instagram and Facebook, responsible for designing addictive products that harm young people's mental health.
To take that teenager whose mind is still developing and to be fully aware of how you can use a casino effect, which is what the YouTube documents talk about, using a casino effect on a young developing mind. That's outrageous.
Jurors voted to award a total of $6 million in compensatory and punitive damages to the plaintiff, a now 20-year-old woman identified as KGM, who claimed features like infinite scroll and autoplay caused her to become addicted to social media at a young age, leading to depression, anxiety, and body dysmorphia. Parents celebrated the decision outside the courthouse.
If it was not for these trial lawyers to get us to this place in time, we would not have this opportunity today to show the world the harms that big tech knew they were doing. So enough.
During the trial, attorneys representing the defendants argued KGM used the platforms as a coping mechanism. In key testimony, Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg faced questioning about internal emails, showing his company knew children younger than 13 used its apps, and that Meta prioritized keeping people engaged to increase profits. Meta has vowed to appeal Wednesday's decision.
We will continue to defend ourselves vigorously as every case is different, and we remain confident in our record of protecting teens online.
The trial is expected to shape how other lawsuits against social media giants proceed in the future. Gwen Baumgardner, CBS News, New York.
Here at home, as early voting continues across the state, Attorney General Tim Griffin says 8 people have now been arrested for allegedly trying to influence the outcome of the 2024 primary runoff for Justice of the Peace in District 9 in Phillips County. Here is a list of some of those arrested, including Lita Johnson, a teacher in the Marvell School District who won the runoff. They say she told voters to illegally change their registration addresses so they could cast ballots in that race. Authorities say the others are accused of fraudulently changing their own addresses to vote in a district where they do not live. Patients in north central Arkansas could soon be paying more for health care. Negotiations between White River Health and United Healthcare are down to the wire, and if a deal isn't reached, thousands could be forced to travel farther for in-network care. THV 11's Tamer Knight joins us with what's at stake for United Healthcare participants, especially in Batesville. Good morning, Tamer.
Well, good morning, Karen. Patients across north central Arkansas rely on White River Health, also known as White River Medical Center, for their health care needs. Now, but roughly 10,000 patients who use United Healthcare could soon face higher costs at the facility. Hospital officials say negotiations with United Healthcare have been ongoing, but with the contract set to expire March 31st, a deal hasn't been reached. If the contract expires without an agreement, White River Health would be considered out of network, meaning patients could pay significantly more out of pocket, plus access to health care could also become an issue.
The closest in-network facility that is our size is going to be traveled all the way to Jonesboro or farther than that. So we're looking at 60 to 90 minutes for a patient that's going to have to drive.
Hospital leaders say they're pushing for rates that match similar providers across Arkansas. In a statement, United Healthcare says it is continuing good faith negotiations, aiming to reach an agreement that keeps care affordable and in-network. Hospital officials say they're hopeful a deal can still be reached before the deadline. However, White River Health is urging patients to review their insurance options now, just in case an agreement isn't reached. Reporting for THV 11 News, I'm Tamer Knight.
All right, Tamer, thank you. Staying in the medical world, Baptist Health says major changes are on the way for its Fort Smith Hospital. The system plans to shift services, combine some departments, and invest more than $20 million into the downtown campus over the next year and a half. Leaders say rising costs and staffing shortages are behind the move, and they promise to share more details as the transition moves forward. And UAMS and the UA Fayetteville are launching a new accelerated 6-year program that lets students move from high school to a medical degree faster and with less debt. School leaders say the first class will begin in fall of next year with only about 20 students in the inaugural group. Officials say the program is designed to help address the growing physician shortage in Arkansas and across the country. And now let's check back in with meteorologist Nathan Scott and the forecast to help you plan your day.
Good morning, Karen. It's going to be a great day to enjoy the outdoors, although those pollen levels are going to be very high. So if you have allergies, be prepared for that. We'll see lots of sunshine today. Also a breeze from the southwest at 15 to 25 miles per hour with some higher gusts. But look at these numbers warming up into the mid to upper 80s across central Arkansas, which could tie the record of 88 set back in 2020 at Little Rock. And then expecting 90s. Fort Smith, Fayetteville, pretty close to 90 in Texarkana. But this is going to be the last day because we do have some changes on the way. Friday, a front makes its way through. This will bring us in some cooler numbers going into the weekend and also a small chance we could see a few showers on your Friday. I'll have more on that forecast and your weekend forecast coming up.